Hey everybody, back with another weekly preview video. Me and Steve are going to be breaking down each of the NFL games in NFL Week 6. Let's get it going. Of course, feel free to show us some love, whether you're liking the video, commenting on it, or subscribing to the channel to keep getting this content week in and week out.
All right, let's get right into it, Woj.
Let's
First
do it.
up, we got the AFC West matchup. 4-1 Kansas City Chiefs hosting the 1-4 Denver Broncos.
Yeah, real lopsided
Denver,
matchup.
yeah, Denver's last win against Kansas City was in 2015.
Wow.
15 straight wins for the Kansas City Chiefs heading
That's
into this
wild.
one. Yeah, it's like I saw some tweet of this guy who was saying the last time oh, he's a Broncos fan. The last time the Chiefs lost to the Broncos, he was in sixth grade, and now this guy's like a firefighter.
That is terrible. Imagine that existence. I mean, it's not much better being a Bears fan, but wow.
Yeah, so we're not the only ones in pain, but yeah, so clearly the Chiefs have dominated this matchup for the last half a decade now, or almost a full decade now.
Hmm.
Do you think anything's going to change this
Yeah, I
Thursday?
mean, I was coming in this game thinking that maybe the Broncos can keep it close, and I still believe that. But there's after hearing that said, there's no way the Broncos can win this game. There's just absolutely no way. The Chiefs, even for 4-1, I don't think look that great still.
Completely
They were
agree.
too close against the Jets. If the Vikings, they're it's just an organization in turmoil. If they weren't, I think they were set up to even beat the Chiefs. The line movement kept going to the Vikings more and more with each hour last week leading up to game time. But at the end of the day, these guys know how to win, and the Broncos, more than anyone in the league, potentially know how to lose. And so I don't think there's any way the Chiefs lose this game at home, especially in a short week. That's when a lot of the talent comes out more to play than preparation. Not that I think the Broncos have the edge in either of those against the Chiefs, but it probably more likely based on the stat that you said it's going to end up being the Chiefs. I kind of like the Broncos plus 10.5 here, but I'm also lower on the Chiefs than most people.
I'm with you on all those points. So like even PFF's agreeing with us. They have the Chiefs overall at number 12 in the league, so not even
Mm-hmm.
top 10, even at 4-1. Denver second to last in PFF.
Yeah, no
So
surprise
so it's a
there.
pretty lopsided matchup. But I mean, looking into it a little bit, like Russ is fourth in the league in passer rating, 11
Yeah,
touchdowns, 2 picks. He's actually played pretty well. My big thing is like what happened to the Denver defense? Obviously, the coaches
yeah.
changed from last year, but they went from one of the top units to dead last in the league. Like if this defense was half decent, this would actually be a pretty good team, I think.
Agreed. I mean, last year, remember the Broncos defense, they would rarely let up more than 20 points a game. They would still lose because their offense wouldn't score more than 14, but their defense was one of the stingiest in the league. And like you said, now in their last in overall defense in PFF, I don't know what's happened. I really
Right.
don't.
I don't see them bouncing back here, especially against the Chiefs. But
No,
if that
no.
defense could play half a decent game, I think they could cover this one.
I agree. Agree.
Moving on to our London game, we got the Ravens
Oh, you're
versus the
on top of
Titans.
it.
Yeah, remember this week. Remember going forward, but the Ravens get the advantage here. They're staying in London after the loss, and then the Titans are just coming in this week. Ravens 3-2, Titans 2-3. Two teams kind of teetering, battling with some injuries. What's your initial lean in this one?
Um, it's interesting here. I said it in my Survivor video. I'm always weary of him, and this is no surprise to you or anyone else. I'm always weary of the Titans and a Mike Vrabel led team. The Ravens, though, they looked really good against the Steelers despite losing. And more so, the Ravens didn't look great. Lamar Jackson looked great. I saw that he had the highest PFF grade of his career in that game.
Oh
He
wow,
had 7 drop passes from his wide receiving core, 3 of them being in the end zone. If his wide receivers show up to the game, we're not even talking about this game. Probably we're talking this line is -6 probably if they beat the Steelers, but because they lost and because they dropped that game, now it's a much closer game on a neutral site though. I didn't realize that honestly, so props to you for being on top of it. And now the Titans, they've got some strengths in the defense, and they definitely got their holes. What they are good at doing is they're pretty decent at coverage. They're not a top unit in really anything, but the coverage is their main thing. They're not great at stopping the run, and as we know, that is the Ravens' bread and butter. No matter who's in the backfield or who's on the offensive line. They've been steady for that for years now. And so certainly defensive or offensive matchup goes to the Ravens, and then defense. Ravens have one of the top units in the league. I think more and more I'm liking this Ravens -4 on the neutral site. If this was games in Tennessee, I wouldn't be saying that, but because it's in London, I like the Ravens here -4.
Yeah, I mean, even if this was a neutral site in the US, I think I like the Ravens still -4 here. They have the number 2 ranked defense according to PFF. Just the Titans have a good offense. They've been pretty balanced this year. They're not completely relying on the run as they have in the past. So pretty balanced, but I still find them having a hard way or a hard time moving the ball against the Ravens defense. Add in the fact the Ravens get the extra week in London. Titans got to fly over. I like the Ravens with a little extra value.
You saying that game in Pittsburgh was in London?
What's that? No. This game's in.
So
Wait,
you said were they in London last week? You're saying?
I thought okay, I might be wrong. Yeah. So, well, the Ravens played Pittsburgh, but wasn't
Yeah,
that 2 Mondays ago now? Or am I just mixed up?
I thought that was just last week. So they're not. There's no extra day, and they're not an extra. They're flying to London like right now.
Okay. All right.
So both teams are on the same playing field in terms of traveling to London.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That was the Jags Bills last week.
Yeah, yeah.
Good catch.
But either way, again, I still and I didn't correct you even when I made my analysis prediction. I'm still the Ravens -4 for me still holds.
Yeah, same here. That was just a cherry on top that I kind of made up.
You thought you had some extra advantage, and yeah, it worked out for the Jags staying an extra week, and it makes a difference.
Yeah. So all right. Next up, we got the Commanders going to Atlanta. Another 2-3 versus 3-2 matchup. Atlanta on the positive side, pulling out that close one against the Texans. We had the correct read going into the advanced stats on
Yeah,
that
we
one.
did.
I mean, Ritter, they finally let Ritter throw the ball last week, 329 passing yards.
Yeah, he didn't look half bad. Like he played one of the worst defenses in the league with the Texans, but they're actually really good in coverage. They're actually really highly rated in coverage grade, which is surprising.
Right.
That
Yeah, I saw that as well. So I
they
was,
didn't take advantage of the run.
yeah, I mean, I like the way the offense looked. I mean, they still only put up the 21 points.
Yeah,
Wasn't really, um, yeah, putting a lot of points on the board, but I thought at least the offense looked a lot better and more balanced, in my opinion.
yeah.
They're at home in this one, and the Commanders are coming off a just embarrassing loss to the Bears. Where you initially leaning?
Yeah, I think in terms of the game winner, I really am. It seems like the Falcons would win this game. I don't love the way they look at offense, but I do like how they're seeing the more balanced play in terms of letting Ritter throw the ball a little bit more. Again, I've always talked about their offensive line and their run game that's been pretty solid. But the Commanders are a team that, like, you saw them show up against the Eagles, you saw them lay an egg against the Bears the next week. I think they're very volatile. Talk about quarterbacks that can air the ball out. Sam Howell, especially in that second half against the Bears, looked really dangerous. I think this game is going to be close. I certainly could see the Commanders sticking around. What I really like this game, especially the line at 2.5, even up to 1.5, is teasing the Commanders. So I just found this out recently doing some reading. There's a name for this teaser. It's called a Wong,
Oh yeah,
WONG,
yeah,
Wong teaser. Tease this game. It goes through the key numbers of 3 and 7. Again, I think this game's going to be close as this low total implies, which makes it an even better opportunity for a teaser. I hope that the Falcons win this game because I do like seeing them win and I want them to win this NFC South. But, they seem to not take advantage of playing weaker teams or at least perceive weaker teams. I think the Commanders coming off now they get a long week. They were a short week playing Thursday night. Now they get a lot of time to prepare for these Falcons, rest up a little bit. I think the Commanders are going to come and play and certainly cover 8.5. So that's
yeah.
my
I
point. I
mean,
love this one. And that will be on the card. I know it. I already bet it myself.
love it, love it. All right, let's keep it moving. Next up, we got the Seahawks heading to Cincinnati. Seahawks off of a bye in this one, 3-1 to start the season, looking good. And then on the other end, we got the Bengals sitting at 2-3 when they really feel
Oh,
like yeah. But the Bengals 2-3 now. They picked up the win against the Cardinals, but this team just feels like they're vastly underperforming this year. Burrow did get it going a little bit, but then again, that was against the Cardinals secondary.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm liking the Seahawks in this one a lot off the bat. I feel like that's a mistake, and that's me looking too much into the recency, but I think now that Spoon's healthy in the Seahawks
Ooh,
secondary, throwing
watch out for that
Tariq
man.
Woolen. Right now they have one of the lowest PFF coverage grades. I think that's going
Yeah.
to change, and that defense is just going to get stronger.
Yeah, it's interesting too because just an aside from what you're mentioning, the cornerback situation there has been, or the DB situation in Seattle has been pretty bleak in terms of injuries. And Witherspoon's actually had to move from his position at cornerback into playing like the nickel corner. That's he was in position to get all those sacks in that Giants game. But like you said too, if you look at just the records, and especially if you look at PFF grade, you're really liking Seattle here. Like I didn't realize number one that they're coming off a bye, which is great in terms of game
Exactly.
preparation, and they're the eighth overall team in PFF. That's very shocking to me going up against the 25th best team in the Bengals. It seems to me I can't honestly tell which way this trap is. It's a trap game in some capacity. I just can't figure it out yet. Give me some time. Is it the trap game because you want to bet the Bengals at 2.5 because you think they have to win the division? Or is it the trap game at the Seahawks being the underdog, being the eighth best team in PFF and 3-1? I coming off a bye. I can't tell. I really can't. Personally, without even thinking about the trap game, removing myself from that, I want to say the Bengals win it. I just think that they have to keep like they can't look back and drop losses, especially when they're at home, especially when they're favored. And I think the big thing here would be the stats of T. Higgins. I'm not sure if he's trending a player or not. I'm gonna look it up, but there's a trap game here in some way, and I'll let you know when I figure it out.
All right, got to take a look at the public money. I mean,
Yeah, I guess
I
I
don't
just
know.
don't.
I mean, yeah, I'm not really sure what the trap would lean towards in this one. Just personally, I mean, me looking at the line, I'd ready to jump all over the Seahawks, but I mean, depends if people change their mind on the Bengals that quick or not. But they're at
Yeah,
home. They are a good team. It should be a good game regardless.
it's just like they're desperate. The Seahawks aren't desperate, and that doesn't mean that the Seahawks won't win because they're a very
Seahawks
dangerous
aren't
team.
desperate, but at the same time, they got the Niners in their division. If they
Even the Rams, who have the tiebreaker over them.
right, so I mean, it's I mean you're gonna need to squeak out some wins. You still have
Yeah,
to play the Niners.
the Lions
Still
was a
got
good win for them. That's a very solid win for the Seahawks. We'll see what happens.
that was.
This will be a great game to watch. I'm sure of that. Over
All
in
right,
this game, like the over.
I'll stay tuned for your trap analysis.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
All
I'm
right, going
taking the over for sure. There's going to be points in that one.
moving along. AFC South matchup. The 3-2 Colts, led by Minshew in this one. Anthony Richardson with the shoulder injury probably won't be back until after the bye.
Yeah,
But they're up against 3-2 Jags. Um, Jags return from London. Their hiatus, probably happy to be back home. Um, yeah, what are your initial reads in this one? I think
yeah,
Minshew's looked good, even with
yes.
Richardson being out.
And you know what's looked great is the Colts running game with or without Jonathan Taylor because Zach Moss has just been really playing behind that solid offensive line that we've talked about for years. Um, I mean, the theme with the Jaguars and really this AFC South divisional matchups for the last 3 seasons is throw out the record book and something crazy is going to happen. Like even when the Colts desperately needed a win, this was like 3 seasons ago. Colts desperately needed to win last week of the season. They go into Jacksonville, win their way in the playoffs. They got demolished by the Jaguars with like 10 fans in the stadium. Like 2 years ago when the Titans won the division, they lost to the Texans, who ended up getting the third pick in the draft that season. Even the start of this season, the Jags dropped a loss at home against the Texans. So personally, I think +4, especially with the way the Colts been running and playing defense, looks very enticing to me. On top of that, we talked about some of the struggles of traveling to London. I think the same struggles stand traveling back from London. I don't think it's supremely significant, but I do think it is a factor. And I think it benefits the Colts here. I like the Colts +4.5. I probably even like them +3.5.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I don't have too much of a lean as far as the spread in this one. I kind of like the under though.
I like the under
I
too.
don't think the Jazz offense has really looked explosive by any means. And then you have the Colts who are going to be pounding the ball on the ground with Minshew. I mean, Minshew could pass, but with Jonathan Taylor back, like you mentioned, Zach Moss has looked great too. So they've no other reason but to run. Just
Yeah.
keep running. It's not broken, but I do like the plus 4.5. I don't know if
Let's
I like it enough to get behind it.
let's see where the Jags defense ranks in run defense. 22nd in the league in run defense. So not their
Yep.
strong point.
Could be juicy. All
Could be
right.
juicy.
I'm on the under. Woj is on the under. He likes the Colts
We like
spread.
the under.
All right. Next up, we
Divisional
got
unders
this
aren't
the
hit bad.
stinker matchup. The 0-5 Panthers headed to 4-1 Miami. My only real note into this matchup is the Panthers, they don't have their first round pick next year. We talked about it last week. But
Yeah.
so they need to still be a little competitive, I would think.
I don't
They've
think they
they've
can.
mentioned it was hilarious after they were 0-4. Um they they had this announcement. Frank Reich was like, "Oh, we believe Bryce Young's our guy." And it's like, how do you making these comments after you're just getting blown out like week to week? And they're looking for a receiver. They might be in the market for T. Higgins, but
Yeah,
it's
maybe
pretty
Justin
obvious
Jefferson.
that they know that their first round pick is not theirs next year, and they're gonna try to turn around. It's just probably not going to be this week.
It ain't this game, I'll tell you that. And I don't know what to say. These games when they're so high, like such a high line like this, like why even bet it? It's not it. But if you gun to my head, what do I pick? I'm picking the Dolphins minus 13 and a half. Doesn't matter who's in their lineup. They're just so fast and so talented that uh, they're going to put up points. And Bryce Young, I don't know, and, credit to Frank Reich for saying that because he has to. But there's nothing in 5 games that has shown me that Bryce Young is a quarterback to move forward with. And he's only 5 games into his career. He's got more time to figure it out. But this isn't even that great of a defense to try to figure it out against. The Dolphins have the 5th best PFF defense too. I think you have to
Yeah.
love the minus 13 and a half here with the way that
Ooh.
what these teams have looked. No, that was all I had to say too. Good. But cut me
Yeah.
off.
Nah. Yeah. I mean, Dolphins are second in the league. Panthers look like the worst team in the league by some margin.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, really just a best versus worst. But I agree. I would side with the Dolphins minus 13.5 here. They've been blowing out some good teams even, so why not against the Panthers?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. NFC North matchup. Two 1-4 teams. The Bear, honestly, both kind of disappointing. Expected the Vikings to fight
Oh,
for the
extremely
top spot
disappointing.
in the division, and then also expected the Bears to be at least closer to 500 in this one.
All
Vikings
right.
lost to the Chiefs last week.
Yeah, yeah.
Some talks about moving on from Kirk. Nothing really
Mm-hmm.
grabbing any traction, but it's out there at least. And then Bears picking up the big first win. Justin Fields he looked great. If he could minimize his turnovers and mistakes, and just play similar to that level, I would
Yeah,
love where the Bears are at. It seems like in those 4 losses, I mean not all of them, but there's always one key turnover that just flips the whole game for the Bears.
always. And it's heartbreaking every time it happens. Two things. Oh, I got to caveat this that I will be at this game, but
Ooh.
I like the Bears to win the game without Justin Jefferson playing, and I like the over here. I think I don't know, but it seems like the Bears want to win more than the Vikings, and I think especially when you get talks of shutting down your star player for the rest of the season because you're irrelevant and trading your star quarterback because you're irrelevant kind of demoralizes the team. And God, I know I'm wrong picking the Bears. I probably won't actually bet this, but like it's a caveat for a reason because I'm there. The Bears are going to win the game. Go
Yeah.
Bears.
I mean, yeah, no Justin Jefferson. What they got? Addison, KJ Osborne.
Justin Fields is the
It's
man.
it'll still be a good game, but I hope Justin Fields is the man. We thought that Washington Commanders front seven was gonna give him trouble, and it didn't.
Yeah,
So
dude. In all honesty, I like the over this game. That's the number that's the play.
decent
I
weather
think
in
Justin
Chicago.
Fields and the Bears look good, and I think he's going to keep slinging the ball. I hope, and then I think the Vikings offense with Kirk Cousins, even with KJ Osborne, TJ Hawkinson, and the rookie Jordan Addison, have enough in the tank. And Madison in the backfield have enough in the tank to put up enough points to hit this over. I think like historically these overs hit too. At
Love
least
it.
last year.
Yeah, and the Bears
Over.
defense is just awful.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter who the Vikings put out there, they'll score something.
they'll put up 20 for sure.
All right. the real trap line in my mind, or
Yeah, dude.
just I mean now it's at 5.5. I believe this one was much lower. Um,
Yeah, I think it did start lower. I think it
but
started at least at the very minimum started at 5. So the public's on the Niners, and that's no surprise to anyone, I would assume.
yeah, the
Go ahead,
Browns are off a bye week in this one. Um, I don't know how great of a game planner Stefanski is, but they do have the extra week heading in this one, and the Niners pretty much just confirmed everyone that if it's not the Eagles, then they're the best team in the league after just dismantling the Cowboys
Yeah,
last week.
wow. Did
So
not expect that one.
me neither. I was really looking forward to that game, and just kind of
Is
kind
this
of ruined the
over?
sparkle.
This weather, I gotta look at this weather in Cleveland. This over under is terribly low.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was at.
Sunday weather is going to be disgusting there. A lot of rain the whole week in Cleveland. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Trap game at least. Kind of like people are buying high here instead of. I think it's a good time to sell high on the Niners. The Niners probably win this game. You know they have proven the best in the league, but this is a time with this low of a total and with this good of defense in Cleveland and this crappy weather in Cleveland to take the plus 5.5. The very minimum, put that in a teaser if the Browns can make this game 25 to 14, 24-14, then that is basically what the game script is saying here, or it's even closer than that. But if they can do that, then they still cover this teaser. I think it's time to sell high on the Niners. And like you said, off a bye week, incredible defense, and even especially a better pass rush for this Browns D. I like them to keep this game close in a disgusting game in Cleveland where kicking field goals might be tough, low total, moving the ball will be scarce. And I think home team off a bye on a teaser is a good spot here.
Yeah, I had the exact same thought process. I even actually kind of like the 5.5. I
Yeah,
mean,
I do too.
tease in is a great number, but yeah, terrible weather. Both teams like to run the ball. Both teams built fairly similar, stronger on the line.
Yeah.
It's going to be a grinded out, very, very low scoring game. Hopefully decided by a field goal. I like the Browns
Yeah.
to cover. They
It's
can
hard to
easily win the
bet
game.
against the Niners given the way they, like you said, dismantled the Cowboys, but
But to that reason, I think that everybody's gonna be on the Niners. It's not everyone,
exactly.
but
I bet you
almost
this
everyone.
bet you this line moves to 6 pretty soon.
Yeah, so it might be worth waiting and even grabbing it at the +6. All right. Next up, we got New Orleans going up against the Texans. This one's in Houston. CJ
Yeah.
Stroud still
Houston
yet
guy.
to throw a pick on the season. I don't know why, but that's become a stat I've been monitoring.
Yeah, me too. It's crazy.
And then Saints, the number third defense in the league.
I saw
I
that.
had to double check that after watching them just make Mac Jones look like a sixth grader.
Yeah.
That was kind of hilarious, but also tough to watch if you're rooting for the Patriots or had any money on them. But um, yeah, very, very just different matchup here. You got tough defense heading up against the Texans, who have moved the ball pretty well. Didn't put up the most points last week, but have still found a way to pass the ball against most defenses. I wanted to take the Texans in this one, but the more I think about it, I just feel like this might be the welcome to the league game for CJ Stroud. I know it's already week 6, but he has to have one where he just messes up.
I'm totally with you. This is the same thing for me week in and week out. Good offense versus good defense. And I'm taking the good defense as always. But credit to this Texans team, credit to rookie head coach D'Amico Ryans, credit to rookie quarterback CJ Stroud, and really the guy that's getting a ton of praise is the coordinator for the offense coordinator for the Texans, Bobby Slowick, who's in talks of some head coaching jobs soon, even
Maybe
just
for
through
the
a few
Bears.
games and how good he's looked with the Texans. I mean, he's clearly unlocked a lot because that offense doesn't have a ton of talent on it, and they've been shining. To your point, this is seem like a all right time to wake up from this dream, CJ Stroud, and you're playing a pretty damn good defense in the Saints, even though you're at home. I like the Saints to win this game. It's going to be close, and it's probably going to be an under game, but I like the Saints here. Interesting enough, Saints are the 10th best overall team. Texans aren't too behind at 14. So, the spread is implies, basically what that says. But again, give me the better defense. defense. There's too many holes in this Texans defense. I think the Saints can find a hole and take advantage of it with guys, no matter who's playing. I think just Taysom Hill, honestly, has a good game this time around, and that's how they win the game. Behind a great defense performance, of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think the Saints defense just really shines in this one. I mean, we mentioned the Texans offense has been overperforming, but I think something's going to give
It's
eventually.
actually a
And
game that the more I think about it, like I try to love the Saints more and more in the situation.
me too. Get the experience. Just I don't know. I mean, the Texans don't have a good defense either. The Saints struggle to score, but hopefully we should be able to put some points up on the board.
Yeah.
Get Kamara more involved in the offense as he gets settled in now 3 weeks back.
Yep. Yep.
But
Totally agree.
all right. Old Tuck Rule game. We got
Ooh, call
Patriots
out.
heading to Las Vegas. Patriots 1-4 looked awful against the Saints and are actually bottom 5 in the league right now, according to PFF. And
Yeah.
then the Raiders, I view them kind of similar to the Patriots, but they did pick up a big win yesterday against the Packers. Jimmy G's back, and Mac Jones looks awful. That's kind of what I'm thinking about going into this matchup.
Yeah, he does. I can't believe he's even allowed to start another football game. But I just even watching the Raiders win it on Monday night, I am not impressed with this team at all. Ironically, you got Chandler Jones in this picture, who is not
Yeah,
playing with the team
I
anymore.
know.
Only guy in this team that really impresses me is Max Crosby first and foremost, and I guess Jacoby Myers has done very well in his role, especially with Jimmy G on the ball. Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams, but I think he's honestly underperformed so far. I I just don't like the Raiders have been playing. They don't look that dominant. They seem very susceptible to a pass rush, which even without Matthew Judon, the Patriots are a top. That's rush defense. They're a middle tier pass rush team. I lean to the Patriots plus 3.5 here. It would pain me to ever pick the Raiders with how they've looked this season. I am not convinced they are solid at all.
Yeah, no. I mean, for me, I'm staying away from this one. No particular lean. And I mean, you even have McDaniels up against
I know.
his old coach, the understudy, so you got that kind of narrative going. Yeah, it's hard for me to slice this one. Both teams just haven't really given me too much to be confident in.
Yeah, it's an ugly game. That's what I think the difference is the Raiders run defense. Let's see how good it is. Hey, top 10 in the league, run defense. That's the way Mac Jones is playing. Obviously, the Patriots are going to want to rely on the run and Ramondre Stevenson and Zeke Elliott as much as they can. Raiders, run defense shows that they're not going to roll over. So
Maybe that's the one. All right, moving on. We got the Detroit Lions heading into Tampa Bay, both divisional leaders. Lions leading the North, or the NFC North, and then the Bucks leading the NFC South. Bucks are up a bye in this one, so they got the extra week off. I'm really excited for this matchup. I know traditionally, probably a couple of years ago, not the most exciting, but these are two teams who've looked very well or looked very good this year. And then, I mean, the Bucks they've just found ways to win. Baker's kind of got his swagger back.
He does have a
Like
swagger.
Baker, he totally lost it, and I think he's kind of that dude again.
Cleveland will do that to you, but yes, they've looked pretty solid. They're a surprising lead of their division right now. Lions, I don't think it's too many surprises of most people that they're winning this division. I was very surprised by the amount of respect the odds makers are giving the Bucks here. The Lions are the third best team in Pro Football Focus grade, and they've looked amazing to me all season. And what really impresses me is their defense, and specifically Aiden Hutchinson, second-year player out of Michigan, has looked incredible. Oh my God, he is as advertised. I love it. But it really surprises me that it's the Bucks plus 3 still, and that line is held. They're still plus 3. So this to me seems like a trap line for the Lions. Everyone knows how good they are. Everyone knows their ability to put up points, but yet it's still Bucks plus 3. Like you said, the Bucks have figured out ways to win. Baker looks solid. It's hard to me imagine a world where the Bucks are 4-1 to start this season, but I think if you can grab this line at plus 3.5 for the Bucs, that's a great spot to be in.
Yeah, no, I mean you make a lot of good points. The Lions, PFF loves them, the eye test loves them. Just when you're watching the Lions, they explosive offense. The defense is much improved. They got playmakers all across the board. And then the Buccaneers on the end, it just feels like they're really finding ways to win games, but never know. They could keep it rolling at home. The home dogs in this one.
We like home dogs.
We usually do, but yeah, I mean tough to bet against our guy Dan
It really is. And Ben Johnson.
and Ben Johnson, our
He's
potential
my
next
man.
coach.
If the Bears can get him a head coach, we'd win the Super Bowl that very season.
That's it. All right. Next up, NFC West matchup. 1-4 Cardinals, kind of coming back down to earth after their
Mm-hmm.
competitive start. I won't say great start because they are 1-4.
Competitive is the
Um,
right word for it.
but yeah, I mean they did lose by 14 to a Bengals team who hasn't looked good. I think yeah, they're kind of falling back to what we expected. And then the Rams, I mean they've looked great even without Cup. They brought him back last week. Couldn't couldn't pull out the win, but this team's needs another week or so just to integrate Cup back into the lineup. Um, I don't know. I'm excited about the Rams. I mean, the line definitely here reflects it, but
Yeah.
do you have any particular leans? I think I'm looking more towards the total.
Yeah, I think I kind of am too, especially because divisional matchups are tough to predict spreads. I think what you talk about the Bengals game and them exposing the Cardinals a little bit. I think it proved that, this Cardinals team is really good at one thing, and it's running the football. But when their defense lets up so many points so quickly, they have to abandon their game plan and pass the ball, which is not the strength of this Cardinals team. So when they get down early, they really struggle. And you saw that Joe Burrow and this Bengals team that struggled in both the running and passing game was able to tear them apart, picking them apart with just Jamar Chase, really. I would assume that Stafford and just to Cooper Kupp could do that, or use his trio of good wide receivers with Atwell and Nakua. I would expect the Rams here to put up a bunch of points. Cardinals have the third worst defense in Pro Football Focus, but the sixth worst defense is the Rams. So you're looking at a really potent offense with the Rams, and then a competitive divisional matchup with the Cardinals and a competitive team with the Cardinals. I think I like the over here with two bad defenses.
Yeah, you read my mind on this one. I haven't really looked into their total numbers, but it just seems like the Cardinals have been scoring quite a bit, giving up quite a bit of points. Seems like they've been leaning towards the over. And then great point on they're going to abandon the run if they get down early. I also imagine they're going to have a hard time running against the Los Angeles Rams. Um, I mean, with Donald, I mean, obviously that's just one guy, but it seems to be their defensive strength a little bit more than the secondary.
Agreed.
Kind of gives them a little bit more of a chance to air it out and just lean towards that over.
Second worst secondary in the league in the Rams. The third worst, the Cardinals.
Ah, there you go. I didn't
Lots
even.
of points this game.
Oh, all right, glad the eye test was right there.
Yeah, you got a good read.
Next up, we got Philly going to um up against the New York Giants.
Jets.
Jets. My bad.
Not
Uh,
good.
but yeah, every time I see these matchups, it just makes me sad. Rodgers is hurt. Like,
Yeah, dude. It
would have been
really
an
does.
awesome game. But Eagles still undefeated. One of the two teams left with the Niners, and then the Jets sitting at 2-3 now. Um, anything you like in this one in particular?
Yeah, I think I like the Jets +7. Certainly, if you teased it, it looks even better. The Jets are the sixth best defense in the league right now, top five in coverage grade. Obviously, the Philly is pretty well balanced. But you talked about what happened to the Denver Broncos defense. To me, what happened to the Philadelphia defense? They brought back most guys. Notice about every guy. Got better with Jalen Carter on the interior line, and they're only the 14th best defense. They have not looked all that great this season. And I've kind of been disappointed with them especially for a 5-0 starting team. This is a Jets team that, starting to get rolling a little bit, competed against the Chiefs, almost had them there, got a win, although I think they were going to lose without that Russell Wilson turnover against the Broncos. And they're looking to keep it rolling at home. I think in a low total game, a game where this Eagles defense is a little bit softer than people give them credit for, I like the Jets to keep this one close at home. And I wouldn't be the most shocked in the world if they won this game, quite honestly.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I I was leaning the other way, but I like it, Woj.
Say what you
I
gotta
hope you're
say.
right.
Say what you gotta say, dude. If you get like the Eagles, tell us
Yeah, no,
why.
I didn't really realize the Eagles defense was playing that poorly this year, but
Yeah.
I see Zach Wilson having another tough game. Just seems like a broken record, but
Yeah, let's see what the Eagles. The Eagles coverage 24th in the league, but their pass rush is still pretty solid. So that's where they're the top 10 in the league in pass rush. And Wilson has shown you get pressure on him, he's kind of going to get flustered, kind of Kirk Cousins like, and throw the ball away. So that's the saving grace for the Eagles here. Win the turnover battle for the Jets, and I think they win the game. Certainly
yeah,
come,
easier said than done.
of course. For that's like the hardest thing for them is win the
Right.
turnover battle.
All right, another stinker matchup that we could probably fly through here, but
Mm-hmm.
1-4 Giants against the 3-2 Bills. Still, still giving them the 2 touchdown spread here.
Yeah,
I would have to go with the Bills -14. Even at the -14, you're almost playing with a push on a 2 touchdown win. But
yeah.
there's just no way I could back the Giants after they got embarrassed by the Seahawks
Yeah, I might get
last
tricked
week.
into betting their spread again, double digits, but the Bills are definitely going to win this game. They straight up cannot, or just simply cannot afford to go 3-3 with how great the Dolphins are playing. Dolphins have a layup win against the Panthers. This needs to be a layup win against the Giants, and the Bills for sure win this game. I do think, like, if I had to pick one of these, which I won't because this game's going to be gross, I would pick the Giants if Saquon Barkley's back, plus 14.
Okay. I don't know.
Just
I
they
would have
have
to
to
go the
compete. I'm just
-14.
waiting for them to compete.
That's my issue. They don't look competitive.
they
Like they don't.
don't.
There's no
That's
fight out there.
That's exactly why you bet them this week because they're just tricking
They're
you.
bringing it out. Yeah.
Yeah, they're waiting for the Bills. They were
All
so
right.
bad.
Wrapping it up, we got the Dallas Cowboys heading to the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers off the bye in this one. Cowboys getting absolutely smacked by the Niners.
Yeah,
Talked about it a little bit here, but um, spread saying the Cowboys are about 5.5 points better here in this one, given the Chargers the home dogs. Do you see any value in the Chargers here, or is this a bounce back game?
not at all. Bounce back game completely. Not at
Weird.
all. Just like the Bills can't go 3-3, neither can the Cowboys. They are vastly superior to the Chargers. Seahawks or the Cowboys, even after that beatdown, are still a top 10 team in PFF. Whatever the Chargers are doing, even coming off a bye, they're still a bottom 10 team. This is in any situation, if you had a top 10 team, it's a bottom 10 team, non-divisional game, even on the road, you would love a -2.5. And that's what I love here. This is going to be a signature game for the Cowboys defense with how weak this Chargers secondary has been. Bottom 5 in the league, bounce back game for Dak, Slam as well. I just think this is the time the Cowboys are down on themselves. They need to prove to not only themselves, but to everyone in the league that they're still one of the best teams in football. 1 week doesn't erase that. And I think it's the correct best time to buy low on the Cowboys. You're never going to be able to buy low on them again this season. This is the time
Yeah,
to buy low. I love the -2.5. I got to see if this is still -2.5 because it is. I think I have to bet mid video before it changes.
yeah. These lines were from I want to
No,
say like
it's
three, four
minus
hours
two
ago.
now. It's -2. I like the
-2.
Cowboys. I stick with it.
There people are like, I mean, there you go. You could definitely buy low. People probably reading heavily into that Niners win, but yeah, I mean,
We hate Brandon
we've talked
Staley.
about. I was just gonna say that.
We hate him.
Even with the buy, I don't know what that guy's doing over there. He
Only guy I hate more than Mike McCarthy is Brandon Staley. Terrible coaches.
he stole my last point. But all right, that is the week 6 card preview. Prize picks.
Price base.
So go to pro picks. But Woj, any hot takes in our last minute? What's your hottest take you got?